Going on, everyone? John Matrix here. Hope you're all having yourselves a wonderful day wherever you're at, whenever you're watching this. Got a 40K video here that we're going to get into by Major Kill. This one is just how powerful is the Emperor of Mankind really? Warhammer 40K lore. And honestly, that's kind of a question that I've had for a while going through a lot of this stuff in the 40K is really how powerful is he? I mean, there's a lot of different tales and things that we've heard about. You know, was able to destroy Horus's soul, you know, things like that. I don't know if it's specifically like talked about in any books or any things like that, or if it is kind of like a fan fiction thing, but you know, it's said that he is even, you know, potentially met with and, you know, conversed with the chaos gods themselves to make some kind of deal with them to enhance the Primarchs, you know, etc., etc. So I mean, if that is true, that would be someone that would be quite powerful to be essentially immune to their corruption and influence. So it is a question, just how powerful is the Emperor of Mankind really? So yeah, let's check this video out. This is by Major Kill. Links will be down below to his channel and to the original video without my commentary and reaction, down in the description as always. So check those out. If you enjoyed this video of his, be sure to go over there and hit the like button on this video of his. And if you enjoy the man's content, be sure to hit that sub button on his channel. He makes a lot of great content for 40K universe. He's got like a line of, I think, minis in the 40K universe that he's putting out. So, you know, you can always check that stuff out of his. Got a lot of stuff. So if you enjoy him and his content, go over there, check out his channel and ways to support him. So without further ado, let's check out this video. Again, just how powerful is the Emperor of Mankind really? Warhammer 40K lore.
G'day, guys.
Let me turn the volume up.
Mankind, God Emperor, Big E, he who clapped the galaxy's cheeks. No matter what you call him, one thing remains the same. The Master of Mankind is obscenely powerful, both in life and death. The only things that actually match his power is his will and shitty parenting skills. But just how powerful is the Emperor really? We know he is a legendary psyker and an insanely intelligent scientist. But how much can he deadlift? What are his skills with a blade like? Is he actually a small, weak man who pretends to be powerful using his advanced armor and psychic prowess? Or is he really the most powerful being in the galaxy in all forms? Before we get started, there are things in life that we really should be doing, but too many of us just don't. One of the biggest ones, especially for us blokes, is skincare. You're oily or dry.
Okay, like I said, he's got some sponsorship stuff here, so check out the sponsorship links, you know, in his video, etc., and check out ways to support him. But I'm gonna skip ahead from the little sponsor thing here. Let's get straight into the video.
The Emperor, regardless if you believe he was a failsafe created by the Old Ones or the conjoined soul of thousands of shamans, was born pretty bloody powerful. He was a psyker before psykers were a thing, stopping his own uncle's heart for murdering his father without even having to touch him. Yep. Beyond his psyker skills, the Emperor was also a perpetual, an immortal being who more or less cannot be killed. He would never age past his prime and never truly die. Perpetuals also gained other not very explored powers. Some were just like normal dudes, like Alanus Pius, notable more for their strength of will and bravery than actual physical prowess. Other, like Erda, the mother of the Primarchs, were like demigods taken out of Greek mythology, able to turn into a monster that could take on 4 greater demons at a time. Whilst the Emperor didn't get that silly, he was described as being the greatest of them, greater than even Erda. So off the bat, we can see that he was born into greatness. As the Emperor grew into manhood and his powers matured, he used his wisdom, if you can call it that, to subtly guide mankind. As mankind entered the dark age of technology, he actually went into hiding, waiting for the age of strife to occur so mankind would be weakened enough for him to take control. If he tried to take control during mankind's golden age, they genuinely would have been able to overcome him, and if not kill him, then at least lock him away. So whilst he was easily the single most powerful human in existence, he wasn't even close to being a god or powerful enough to outmuscle mankind at its peak. During these few thousand years before the birth of the Imperium, the Emperor got really into his science, most notably biomancy. The ability to edit DNA to create super soldiers was his new hobby. With this knowledge, he created his Custodes, who remain to this day the greatest super soldiers mankind has, other than the Primarchs. However, each custody was an unreplicatable work of art. They took a shitload of time, effort, and resources to create. As such, he couldn't mass produce them for his galactic or even global conquest. Hence, he used these skills to create the cheap yet effective Thunder Warriors.
Yep.
From there, it was the Primarchs and Space Marines.
Kind of getting into like history 101 here of the Imperium with its creation, with, you know, the Custodes, then the Thunder Warriors, and then that leading to the Primarchs, and then that leading to the Astartes.
With the successes that these inventions wrought, it's clear that his initial key powers wasn't his body, but his mind. He needed his armies and legions to fulfill his ambition. There was just no way he could solo take the galaxy. Even the creation of the Primarchs and the Astartes wasn't entirely him. Erda did half the work for the Primarchs, while some scientist bitch, and she was a bitch, I'm not just being sexist, did a lot of heavy lifting for the Space Marines. The Emperor had limits to his knowledge. He wasn't all-knowing, all-seeing, or omnipresent. If he was, the galaxy probably wouldn't be such a shithole right now. In saying that, he could see the future in great detail. However, he described it as being able to see the destination, but not the infinite paths that could lead there. Also, as it has been established in 40K, the future is a fickle thing. Random shit occurs all the time that throws all farseeing and prophecy into the trash. After all, nobody foresaw Gilliman's resurrection, and it actually gave Titsnitch a massive headache.
Right, and I mean, like, also, like, you know, Tzeentch is like the all-knowing, you know, god of chaos, right? So, like, if you were really able to know everything and see how everything would come out, right? Like, you would think Tzeentch would already have won the great game by now, right? And would already control everything. So,
despite that, future seeing does come in clutch and was another of the Emperor's key powers. He wasn't the best at it, but he was better than most. The thing about the Emperor is that he is never satisfied. There is always more power, more knowledge to gain. His hubris was so much that any source of power wasn't off limits. He believed he could conquer it all, even the...
See, and that right there, that kind of statement right there is also one of the things that I find so interesting about the Emperor, right? Like, he really is like this extremely all-powerful, you know, being with this great knowledge and psychic powers and et cetera, but when it boils down to it, he's still just a man with the same flaws of a man, you know. His hubris, his pride, his thirst for knowledge, and his curiosity can get the best of him, you know, and his pride, etc. So I still find that's one of the reasons why I feel like the Emperor is the most interesting character in the 40K universe.
Darkest of power, and to be fair, he kind of could. On Moloch, it seemed as if he bargained with the Chaos Gods or the Warp itself to get a power boost, as well as the knowledge and power required to create the Primarchs. He then was somehow able to trick or outmuscle the denizens of the Warp without having to uphold his end of the bargain. Well, at least not until the Horus Heresy. This new power hit him harder than a mega dose of TRT to the scrotum. With this boost of his psychic might, the Emperor was able to make an entire legion of Marines kneel before him unconsensually, summon forth the souls of thousands of dead Astartes as well as their Primarch to fight for him, and he could unleash holy fire that could burn millions of demons instantly. He also had the rare and scary ability to obliterate a soul, doing so on a number of occasions, but most famously to Horus. He could choose what people saw him as. Even Primarchs struggled to see past his illusions. He could increase his size dramatically by combining his biomancy with his psychic powers. I mean, just look how fucking big he is here. It's insane. He is one of the 2 psykers in the galaxy that can ignore and overcome the pariah gene. Blanks, something that even Magnus can't do. The other example for those interested is the Grey Knight Hyperion. Any soldiers under his command become unbreakable, A, because they are so full of awe to be in the presence of their emperor, and B, because his psychic aura fills them with courage. To add even more sugar to the spice, the emperor did all this shit while still powering the Astronomicon from half a galaxy away. So what about his physical strength and speed? Well, funnily enough, without his psychic might, the emperor is more or less a normal dude. Whenever he isn't flexing or in battle, his true resting form is an average man of average build and height. So you could argue that his physical power is actually his psychic power, but for the sake of not making this video Alpha Legion levels of confusing, let's just keep the 2 separate. He is strong as hell, easily stronger than his sons. During his first meeting with Russ, the Emperor lost an eating and drinking contest to the Wolf King. It's unclear if Lehman was just genuinely such an alcoholic that he was able to win, or if the biggie let him. But regardless, the Emperor ended up punching Lehman in the face, knocking him out in a single hit. To be fair, the Emperor was wearing his power armor, but how much was him and how much was his armor isn't known. But if
You know, going through this video and with him talking about this, a question that I was just thinking of, right? Like, and I'm sure there's probably certain reasons for this, but like with the Emperor's knowledge of genetic enhancements and whatnot, um, wouldn't he be able to kind of create more of a perfect body that he could transfer his soul into? I guess if that was possible, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, wouldn't he be able to genetically create, you know, if his physical body had, I mean, I guess maybe it's a situation where because he's a perpetual, maybe he didn't want to do that. Maybe those perpetual traits wouldn't necessarily transfer over to another kind of body, I guess. Um, you know, maybe that's an answer to the question, or maybe it's just a situation where he wouldn't be able to make another body powerful enough to, I guess, sustain his psychic abilities. And like the body that he was born with is kind of adapted and grown with him and his powers over time, you know, kind of a situation. So it's kind of grown to be able to help contain his abilities, you know, something like that. But yeah, I mean, I just a question that I was thinking as we're going through this video was just like, yeah, wouldn't with his um, you know, knowledge of biomancy and etc., would he want to create almost kind of a more physically perfect body for his soul to enter so that his physical um capabilities could match his psychic capabilities and make him even greater, you know? But I don't know if something like that would even be possible, you know?
If a Space Marine in power armor punched a Primarch, he'd probably break his hand. When the Emperor and Vulcan competed in a test of strength and endurance, both unarmored, they were evenly matched. However, the Emperor was able to kill and carry a larger salamander for their final competition. It also seems like the Emperor deliberately matched Vulcan in the previous challenges, and through the final challenge,
Yeah, and a lot of these things, it seems like the Emperor kind of, you know, kind of lets them win in certain situations.
so that Vulcan would swear loyalty to him. With Vulcan being one of, if not the strongest Primarch, this shows that the Emperor is above them all in strength. His swordsman skills would be excellent, but it's hard to know as they were barely tested. He fought more like an anime protagonist than a swordsman, as he would sweep through a battlefield, slaughtering the enemy in their hundreds. The Emperor did once get grabbed by an especially massive orc. The orc seemed poised to kill the Emperor before Horus saved him, but once again it's hard to know if this was the Emperor being genuinely taken off guard or a ploy to make Horus think he had just saved his father.
Right.
What about his durability? Well, it is quite rare that the Emperor's durability gets tested, but holy shit, it certainly has been. During his
I mean, you would think the best kind of, I guess, circumstance of that would be when Horus is fighting him, right? When Horus was enhanced by all the various chaos gods. But again, the question has to be asked, right? Like, did the Emperor throw the fight? Because if the Emperor at any point in time could have just destroyed Horus's soul at any point in time during that fight. So like that's one of the biggest questions that I have in the 40K universe is, you know, was the Emperor holding back, you know, and was it just a situation where he was hoping that Horus would snap out of it himself before the Emperor got so wounded, you know, that he couldn't do anything? Or, you know, was there something more? You know what I mean? Is it all part of some kind of plan or thing that the Emperor had some foresight of, you know? But I guess, again, like, to my knowledge of everything in the 40K, which is still very limited, there's still so much information and stories or whatever. The best example of what the Emperor's durability would have been would be when he fought Horus.
his quick duel with Draknian, the Mega Demon impaled the Emperor on a pronged spear and hoisted him into the air. This hurt the Emperor, drew blood, and would have ruptured organs. However, after a minute of, oh fuck, that hurt, he was back in action. His fight with Horus was even more devastating, losing an arm, an eye, and his throat. Despite this, he was still alive enough to get to the Golden Throne and keep the galaxy glued together for the next 10,000 years. His durability stems from his perpetual status more than anything. Psykers die just like normal people if shot or stabbed,
Right.
so it probably wasn't his Psyker prowess keeping him alive. just his immortality hacks that he was born with. Perpetuals aren't actually totally invulnerable, just mega hard to kill. If you stab a Perpetual with a crystallized shard of the Emperor's psychic might, it can kill them, like with what happened to Vulcan, except he survived, but that's beside the point. There are alternate futures where the Emperor does receive true death, if an enemy is able to fight their way to his golden throne, but this hasn't been tested in the main timeline, so who knows. It is actually a point of debate within the 40K universe as well as its fandom as to what would happen if someone killed the Emperor while he was on his golden throne. Would he regenerate back to full health?
Is it a situation where like is it a situation where the Imperium keeping him alive like that is actually detrimental, and if he were to die, would he not just be resurrected or reborn with his full capabilities? And then, you know, another question on top of that is, with them feeding him all these psychers for so long, is it in fact, you know, empowering his you know, soul even greater, so that when if he does eventually die and or resurrect, will he be even more powerful than he was before?
Would he stay dead and doom the Imperium to perpetual darkness and doom? Speaking of Throne Emperor, let's talk about Throne Emperor. Since becoming a deified battery, the Emperor's power has changed. He is immobile and struggles to pull his fractured consciousness together. Despite this, he is obscenely powerful, able to fight out warp storms, keep all 4 Chaos Gods at bay, power the Astronomicon, i.e. a massive warp beacon that can be seen by the entire galaxy, and even turn some of his followers into angelic superheroes. The funny part is that most of his feats of power are done by accident, more so someone tapping into his power rather than him deliberately focusing on them. When Gilliman woke up after 10,000 years of near-death stasis, fuck me, his back would have been sore, and met with the Emperor, he said that the Emperor was like a celestial entity, no longer human but significantly more powerful than he had been living as a man. After all, the Biggie gets countless sextillions of prayers every day, and has been consuming 1,000 psychers a day for 10,000 years. The dude is juiced as fuck, definitely not a natty anymore. With the opening of the Great Rift, the galaxy has been flooded with psychic energy, empowering the Emperor further and even allowing him to bring his consciousness together a lot easier, meaning Chaos has inadvertently given the Emperor the power he needs to achieve a total victory. Potentially. Good work, Abaddon. But whilst his psychic might has gone off the charts, his strength, speed, and literally anything else has gone down the bin. For the Emperor to merely communicate in most situations, he has to send fragmented, cryptic dreams to a select few custodies who then have to have a number of meetings to try piece together whatever the fuck their dad is trying to tell them. So if we were to go Dragon Ball Z mode and put a power level comparison, the current Throne Emperor has a higher power level. However, the Flesh and Blood Emperor of the Great Crusade was able to use his full power effectively. Here's a good example. When Horus was wounded with a Chaos Knife and Ferris was decapitated by Fulgrim, the Flesh and Blood Emperor wasn't even aware of both events as they occurred, and couldn't do shit to prevent them. However, when Gilliman was high-key killed by Mortarion, the Emperor was able to project his power across the galaxy, cure Gilliman, bring him back to life, call Mortarion a bitch, and then set Nurgle on fire. Another example is that when the Flesh and Blood Emperor was confined to the Golden Throne after Magnus did something very
So yeah, it's just a situation of like, when he's on the throne, his consciousness has expanded and become so great that he's able to affect more in different ways and have a wider range. But physically, you know, his body isn't capable of doing anything. He doesn't have like a real physical presence anymore. You know, so in like the physical realm, basically he has to have avatars do the things for him.
Very wrong. 95% of his focus was on the throne.
And I mean, you look at the Imperium and the state the Imperium is, and this obviously isn't what the Emperor would have wanted for the Imperium with where it is.
He couldn't do shit with the war and could only communicate with a select few custodies. Now in his corpse form, he's dealing with the same if not worse issues as he was when he was alive. However, now he interacts with the galaxy, creating living saints and shit. So overall, the Emperor is powerful as holy hell, easily the most powerful entity in real space when he was out of his wheelchair, and maybe even the warp post his ascension. The issue is that he struggles to coordinate his power or access all of it at the same time, due to how fragmented his soul currently is. Invoking the Emperor's name is enough to cause demons pain. The Chaos Gods are very wary of him. He made some Elder Harlequins reconsider if they truly were superior to humans, and the Orcs admire him as a legendary god of war. I don't think I really need to go on. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then Patreon is the place to be, where there is not only nude models in Battle Mace cosplay, but also a boatload of hentai. Hit the subscribe button and hit the real subscribe button for more overpowered content. Join the Discord for more memes and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
All right, well, there we go. There we go. That was Just How Powerful Is the Emperor of Mankind Really, Warhammer 40K lore. I mean, if you enjoyed this video, you know, be sure to go over to Major Kill's channel and give this video a like, you know, without my commentary interaction, and hit that sub button on his channel if you enjoy his content. And you can check out his Patreon. He's got a bunch of content there. Like I said, he's got merch, minis, and stuff that he does. So if you want to support him, check out all that stuff. And yeah, links will be down below in the description, as always. So, I mean, yeah, the Emperor obviously is very powerful and arguably more powerful now, and is able to have more influence now and do more now, technically, than when he was, I guess, physically alive, so to speak. So yeah, I mean, again, you know, like I said earlier, one of the questions I would have had would be, would he, with his biomancy knowledge and technology, would he have wanted to create a more physically capable, powerful body that would allow him to do more, if it was even possible? Because again, you know, maybe, I don't know if like transferring his consciousness, soul, whatever, from his current body to another would have been possible. Would he even want to do that? Because it would have removed, you know, his perpetual gifts, etc., etc. And a lot of the stories where he's comparing, you know, feats that he did with the Primarchs, a lot of those stories definitely feels like, you know, the Emperor was holding back and allowing them to win or do things. And really the big one to me that I have questions about is, again, the battle with Horus. From my understanding, I guess in some of the more recent books in the Horus Heresy, some of that's been retconned a little bit. I don't know. But the idea, you know, that the Emperor could have destroyed Horus's soul at any time. You know, why essentially wouldn't he have done that earlier instead of allowing himself to get injured? Unless, again, you know, it's part of some kind of greater plan or thing that he had, you know, to begin with, you know. So who knows? But it's very clear that obviously he's a very powerful and capable being, able to essentially hold off the Chaos Gods and is seemingly immune to their corruption and influence. And it is still, you know, another interesting question of what really is his origin. Is he, again, you know, a star child, a fragment of one of the old ones, or potentially one of the old ones who had, you know, put their soul in a human vessel? Or is it, you know, a situation where it is a bunch of shamans who underwent some kind of ritual and combined their souls into one ultimate being because they saw the future? You know, who knows? Maybe we'll never know what the origins actually are. But it's obviously very clear that the Emperor is very powerful and is in some ways continuing to get even more powerful than what he ever was before. And, you know, again, another question which was kind of brought up here in the video: what were to happen if he were to actually die? Would he permanently die, and would humanity be, you know, SOL? Or would he resurrect? Would his perpetual status bring him back to life? And would he be able to come back and lead humanity to, you know, some other kind of golden age? You know, who knows? But anyway, so yeah, again, that was Just How Powerful Is the Emperor of Mankind Really, Warhammer 40K lore by Major Kill. Links down below, as always, in the description to the original video without my commentary and reaction, and to his channel. If you enjoyed this video, you know, go over there, give it a like, check out his stuff. If you'd like to join us as I do these reactions live with my YouTube members, there is a join button underneath the video, as well as a link in the description to the YouTube membership benefits and tiers that I offer. Check those out if you have any interest in taking your sport to the next level. We'd love to have you guys come in and join our discussions. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, consider leaving a like and a sub, as it helps me and the channel grow. And I hope you guys are having yourselves a wonderful day wherever you're at and whenever you're watching this. And we'll see you on the next one. Take it easy, everybody.